YouTube and welcome to another GV anime review. Summer might be over, but today we're returning to the sunny beaches for my review of Harukana Receive. Harukana Receive was a sport anime focusing on beach volleyball, and as you know, I love sport animes. But more than that, I hoped that this anime wouldn't be pure fan service given the topic. Harukana Receive takes place on the sunny island of Okinawa, where we meet our first female main character, Haruka Ozora, who just moved there to attend school. One day, Haruka meets Kanata Higa, a small girl who used to play beach volleyball, but because of her short height, she felt like she was a burden to her partner and she quit it. Haruka gets fascinated over Kanata and beach volleyball and convinces her to form a pair with her. So along this anime, we see how both our female characters grow in the sport and as a human. So let's get the main question about this anime out of the way. I was so happy that Harukana Receive didn't become a fan service anime. There are certain topics that are almost too good not to be turned into fan service, and beach volleyball is like the ultimate sport for fan service. But this anime decided not to go that way and really focus on the sport itself without feeling the need to showcase boob physics all the time. As you know, I love sports animes but hate over-the-top fan service. So the fact that Harukana Receive was an actual sport anime made that I could effectively enjoy this anime. As a second positive point, I want to point out that the entire cast of Harukana Receive is female. There isn't a single male character in this anime. That is pretty unique in itself, but it certainly is for a sport anime. Sport animes generally tend to focus on male characters because, let's be honest, male sport is still massively more popular than female sport. So it can only be good to showcase more female sport in anime. There are a few other ones that I can think of, but generally speaking, this is pretty unique. And finally, I have to do what I usually do in this type of reviews, and that is give credits to the anime for having a new and unique subject. By my knowledge, there is no other anime that really focuses on beach volleyball. Lots of animes have a beach volleyball episode, but that is for entirely different purposes. So credit to Harukana Receive for showing us a new sport that a lot of us are probably not familiar with. Animes of this type usually have two problems, and Harukana Receive unfortunately also had them. The first problem is that sport animes like Harukana Receive are not very original in terms of their storyline. In half of the cases, the anime centers around some prodigy who lost feeling with their sport or art due to some issue or personal drama. And then a new character shows up which relights the fire in the prodigy to take up their art again. The animes then tend to focus on the personal growth of the prodigy, sometimes even more than the actual sport. And Harukana Receive was no different. Kanata was the beach volleyball prodigy, and Haruka was the spark that lightened her passion for beach volleyball again. So nothing new under the sun here. The second problem that almost every sport anime has is that they tend to leave us after the first arc. When I like an anime, I hate to be left in the middle of a story. Harukana Receive ends after the first big arc or the first big tournament, but the story doesn't end there. No, it continues, but we're never going to see that, because animes like this rarely get a second season. There are a few exceptions out there like Yowamushi Paddle, Kuroko no Basket and Haikyuu, but in most cases we never see a continuation, and that is a shame because I wanted to see how Haruka and Kanata would do in the nationals. So as a conclusion, Harukana Receive was a decent sport anime. I'm not gonna say that it was amazing or like nothing I had ever seen before. No, therefore it was a bit too stereotypical of a sport anime. It was fun to watch and wasn't fan service based like I feared, but with that everything about this anime is said. So overall, I'm going to rate Harukana Receive at 3.5 out of 5 stars. It belongs to the middle class of my sports animes. I have seen better, but I also have seen worse. There are quite some sport animes out there, so there is lots to choose from. You have for instance Hanebado, also from last season and still on the 2 review list. There is Haikyuu, the famous volleyball anime, which is probably the closest related to Harukana Receive in terms of the topic. Both Long Riders and Minami Kamakura Koko Joshi Jitenshabu focus on female cycling, and a sport anime from last year that I really enjoyed was Ballroom e Yokoso. Another odd duck in the sport anime world, since its topic was ballroom dancing. But it was beautifully animated, had great characters and was very exhilarating overall. Definitely recommend watching it if you're into special sport animes. And with that I conclude my review of Harukana Receive. As usual, you can find the full list of all my animes and reviews over at Anime Planet. As usual, I will put a link in the description box down below. Now, if you want me to review a particular anime from this list, please put it in the comments. Also, if you have a recommendation for me, put it in the comments as well. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, visit me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and subscribe to this channel for more reviews in the future. Then I will say arigatou gozaimasu and I will see you all in the next video.